Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gavinsky's Tutorials. Today I'm looking at a whole bunch of different delay apps. Look at this chain here. Whole bunch of different delays. Why am I doing this? Well, recently in the Audiobus Forum there was a thread about what's your favorite delay, and in fact these often come up, these kind of threads. And everybody loves delays. I love delays, so I thought it would be cool to do a video comparing a bunch of delays. Now, this is actually going to be the first in a two-part series. I'm not sure when the second one will come out, but this will be enough to get you started anyway. I'm also putting a link above to a playlist that I've made of all the delay apps that I've already done walkthrough videos on. So in this video today, for example, apps that I've covered before, like MixBox, for example, or ReelBus, among many others here, I'm really going to just mention those very, very briefly as we go through. You want to find out more about them, go and watch the videos. Apps that I haven't actually done videos on, like Eventide's UltraTap, for example, I'll go into a little bit more detail, but it's not going to be a walkthrough. I can't do a walkthrough on all these delays. So the main point of today's video is to just let you hear the differences between what some of these delays can do, give you a kind of idea of the flavor of these different delays, let you know what some of the main distinguishing features of them are. So it may be a video that you want to come back and watch in several installments. As usual, I'll put timestamps. If you're watching in YouTube, you'll be able to access exactly the parts of the video that you're interested in. You only want to watch the part about Eventide MicroPitch, then just click through the timestamps to view that. Also, I have got hundreds of dollars worth of various delays to give away in today's video to subscribers to my channel. So if you're not a subscriber, you can subscribe now, that's fine. And also follow the other instructions. All the instructions are in the pinned comment at the top of the YouTube comments section. The winners will be announced 2 days after release of this video. Okay, now I'm not going to list at the start all the different apps that I'm covering, because you can see those by looking at the timestamps. All right, let's get started. I just counted, and I'm actually going to go through 20 delays in today's video. So it's mostly going to be very brief to look at each one. As I say, some of them I've done before, so those ones I will definitely not do in much detail. Some of the ones that I haven't done, I'll go into in a little bit more detail. Okay, so I'm going to use Ravenscroft initially as my audio, and Polyphase as a MIDI generator. So dry, that's like this. First delay we're looking at here, UltraTap, Eventide. Now, this is beautiful. We'll go through a few presets first. Great for rhythmic things. Let's play around with this one, for example. So we've got the mix 100% here. Obviously we can get it less extreme if we want. Length. Goes up to 10 seconds. Now here we've got how many taps we have in the delay. Just put it back to how it was, 16, okay. We've got a pre-delay. This spread, these can be interesting to play around with. The slurm's another interesting one. That'll kind of smooth things. You see, it's less rhythmic. Now, even if we reduce the number of taps, we also have this thing we can do. We can actually chop up the original audio. And we have different waveforms we can do that with. So this is a really interesting effect. Okay, next, MixBox. Now let's see, start with this one. So MixBox I've done a video on already. So this has about 40 different effects. Like I mean, for example, here we just got, about 10 different amps. Delays, we've got 3 different types. And we've got all kinds of other things. And we can combine them in all sorts of ways. We can move things around. It's going to radically alter the sound. So I looked at this in detail in my other video. Let's just listen to a few examples of it. Got a real sort of underwater vibe here. So in the tape echo, for example, separate left and right time, separate sustains and volumes. Digital delay. We've got a lot of different sync times here, or we can have milliseconds values. We've got feedback amount and a built-in filter. But of course the app itself has lots of different filters and things. I love the tape cassette unit in this, so this can do really nice tape delays. With wow and flutter and everything. Real lo-fi stuff. Beautiful. MixBox is an excellent, excellent app. There would be a good case to make that if you just wanted to buy one FX app for iOS, this could be it. It does so much. Now, if we want more of that tape type stuff, ReelBus is a great choice. Now let's get something a little bit less extreme to start with. Okay, so let's see, do we even have any delay on this? No, right. So we have separate left and right delay. Again, we get this lovely tape sound when we change our speeds. Got a lot of different speeds. Separate feedback for left and right. We've got a lot of different panning options. We can go for milliseconds value, and we can get really short with those values if we want. So again, we got a lot of things like wow and flutter in here. So I've done a video on this, so I won't really cover it much. Just to mention, it's very easy to quickly dial in a really dirty sound. So here we're setting the drive threshold. By putting it low, we're allowing things to get overdriven very, very easily. We might get the odd CPU spike in this video. I'm running some heavy apps here and we've got a lot of stuff going on. So we can get really extreme with this. Now, what's happened here? Let's see. Ravenscroft. Okay, this is something that sometimes happens with Ravenscroft. Ravenscroft, when triggered from polyphase, can easily get overwhelmed because Ravenscroft, as beautiful a piano as it is, does not handle polyphony well. So if that happens, the trick is just change the preset. Just switch it over to another preset and then it'll start working again. Okay, so that was ReelBus. It's a beautiful effect. The Boards of Canada machine, I like to call it. Okay, we got another Eventide here. MicroPitch. So basically here, we can get pitch delays, but only within 50 cents amount. So it's good for like weird pitched detuning type things. And just subtle pitched delays. With separate delay times for left and right, separate pitch A and B. Sorry, not left and right, for the two pitches A and B. We've got kind of chorus. Let's listen to a few presets. Some of these can be really interesting. This next one's cool. Great for ambient. Ah, beautiful. Can really do some quite experimental things, especially with these high feedback levels. This is very similar to what UltraTap can do. Now, I'm going to switch instrument here. I'm going to use House Mark 1 by AudioKit. Did a video on this. Beautiful. Now, next one I'm just going to look at very closely, or sorry, very briefly, because it's free. So I don't really need to sell this to you. Just get it, it's great. It does a lot of really weird stuff. PhaseDelayArray. This developer has done tons of free apps. They're all super interesting. Very experimental. Does all kinds of things. Phase effects, tremolo, stuff like that. Combined with delay effects. It can do really experimental stuff. Amazing. I can't believe this is free. Neon Silicon, what a dude. Anyway, like I say, it's free, so just go and get it. It's going to be a long video. I'm going to do 20 in today's video, so... Now the next one is one of my absolute favorites. I also did a video on this, TfxEcho. This is just such a clean... listen to that. Just for a pure delay, this is one of the best that you can buy. It is so clean. It's based on Bucket Brigade delays, but it doesn't have the dirt that those analog Bucket Brigade delays have, and that most apps that try to emulate them have, with a slightly dirty sound. This is just a superb clean delay, but also can do real nice LFO modulation in it. And then you've got, control over the frequencies. If it's getting too muddy, just raise the high pass frequency there. Just beautiful. Couldn't recommend that more. Fantastic effect. Now Looperator, absolutely insane. Did a video on this. Much more than just a delay. Basically, it's a sequenced effects app. So we can put in exactly what we want, where we want, and it comes with literally hundreds and hundreds of different presets. Like I say here, let's focus on things that are more delay oriented. So I've done a whole walkthrough on this, so I won't go into it. I highly recommend it. And you've got to love that it's got a randomizer. Including random for each separate line here. The actual delays themselves are here in FX2. And where are they? Massive control. Looperator. Love sugar Bytes. Now Mela. So I did a video on this synth. It also has this separate FX unit. Now this is Mela 2. I did a video on Mela 1, but the synth engine is the same. Just some things about the interface have changed. So here we're using it as an FX unit. So if we look down here, here's our delay section. I covered this delay section in my video, so I won't go through and explain things again. But just to mention briefly, we've got different types of cross feedback between left and right, separate control over left and right. Good variety of dotted and triplet times. Built-in filter. But of course we've also got all these other things, like a flanger. I love the XY pads in it. And a chorus. I mean, we can get pretty crazy if we add all this stuff on. Phaser and distortion. So we can come up with a lot of nice complicated delays. Like listen to this, for example. You see, Mela has great LFO stuff going on. So this is a very powerful FX unit. Great synth. Now Tape Pro, so this is another thing a little bit similar to ReelBus. So we've got saturation with different tape saturation, digital saturation, and so on. We can add wow and flutter. So very similar to ReelBus. I did videos on both so you can compare them. Now Modley, incredibly powerful. So Modley, we can set up a bunch of different types of effects. We'll go through some presets first and you'll get a little flavor of what it can sound like. This can be very experimental. We can move these around. Again, so it's very modular. And we've got different kind of pre and post types of processing and so on. It's very powerful. This is happening in the actual delay loop itself. It's got a lot of synced delay times. Listen to a few more presets. So again, if you really want to see what's going on, you need to go through these various screens. So we've got distortion, filter, and then a reverb and a filter after the delay. So here, pre the delay, we've got distortion and tremolo. In the delay itself, chorus, and then a phaser after. Super powerful, super flexible. Can do some really cool FX. Some really experimental stuff. There is a good argument to be made that if you only got one delay app, this would be a good choice. Because it's so flexible and so powerful. And really nice design. I like Klevgrand a lot as a developer. Really like them. Especially their recent stuff. Like Pipa, their vocal synth. Love it. Did a video on that too, well worth checking out. I haven't done a video on Modley. Okay, wonderful. So let me pop out and go into the second part of the video, bring in 10 more delays. So back to Ravenscroft here. And here I did a video on this AU3FX dub by Jonathan Liljedal, same developer as AUM. And I've done a whole video, by the way, on AUM called Almost Everything You Need to Know About AUM if you haven't seen that, and you want to learn more about how to use this amazing host. Now, a lot of people are absolutely crazy about this delay. This is a great delay. It's very, very easy to dial in. It sounds fantastic. It's got a very simple looking interface that's actually hiding a lot of cool stuff. Like for example, we've got tape noise in here. And we can again go for these, you know, tape delay type things. You can get very extreme with this warble. It's such an enjoyable delay to use. You can see for yourself a lot of the stuff that it's got here. If you want to see more detail, watch my video on it. It can also do just chorus and kind of flanger type effects with extremely short delay times. It can do really nice large delays, very sort of reverby. But also nice clean ones. Great. Again, I've done a video on it, so I'll be brief here. Now, next one of the very experimental ones, Bleass Delay. So we have a delay, pitch shifter, and a frequency shifter, and filters. And we've got LFOs for each of those, so the LFOs can bring it into extremely experimental territory. I mean, let's just play around a little bit with some things here, some LFOs and stuff, for example. Really interesting. Man, I just love delays. The best effect. And everyone's so different. I mean, I'm glad I have all of these. They're all very interesting in their own ways. And I just love Bleass's interfaces. In fact, this is a little bit older. This is like a couple of years old, maybe. Their interfaces have just got better with time. I've done tons of Bleass videos. I've even got a whole playlist, I think, on Bleass apps. One of my favorite developers. Now, Velvet Machine I also reviewed. Extremely interesting. This is not strictly speaking a delay. It's kind of like it can be a delay, it can be a reverb. It can do some very, very interesting things. For example, we get into shorter times and short amounts of density. We can get some interesting stuff. We can dial in our own envelopes here. This is a very interesting one. You see, this is getting more into delay territory. We can sync or free here. You know, it can be a little bit like a chorus, very flexible effect. So I did a video on this one. I love this effect. Beautiful for ambient. Now Yukawa, I loved this so much I even did actually, like I think in the end I did about 4 videos on this. Part of the reason was that I was very confused by this little section initially. Now I look back and think, what? It's very simple, actually. There was just something about it at the time that confused me. So this is a sequenced delay. Like a multi-tap delay, it's got a filter section and everything as well. It's got stereo delay. It does a lot of stuff. Let's hear a few things. Why is this gone so quiet? Ah, Ravenscroft has died again, okay. Too much polyphony from Polyphase. So we can get these interesting filtered effects. We've got a lot of control over how we route things. Do we use both the multi-tap delay and the stereo delay, or just one? You know, do we route them both through the filter or not? It does so much. This is quite a deep app. It's very interesting to dial things in if you like that sort of thing, which I'd personally do. Here we've got, for each tap, we can turn it on or off and control the panning, the cutoff frequency, the resonance, and the timing, so we can get a kind of shuffled delay. It's an extremely interesting effect. But as I say, I've done a video on it already, so you've got a lot of viewing from today's video. If you go and, you know, explore, watch my videos on these delays, you've got hours of very enjoyable viewing. I love watching videos on delays. Another Eventide one. I mean, Eventide have done tons of effects and tons of things that have delay-like qualities. So unlike MicroPitch, this one is more like, well, a macro pitch in a way, because we have 4 different pitches, and they can go up or down as much as 2 octaves. And then we group them in different ways, and we can control then delay of those groups. This is a very hypnotic one. I called it Manzarek because I felt it had a sort of Doorsy vibe. You gotta love the Eventide ribbon. So I've demoed things like the ribbon in other Eventide apps that I've reviewed, so I won't go into various features here. You can see we can tap in when it's in manual mode. Get a lot of control. Now the next one is for the real experimentalists. K devices make crazy apps. Ttap is the craziest, at least on iOS. So we have 2 delays, and we have a lot of control over the envelope for each delay. And we can even just turn the envelopes off. It's very, very powerful. Does a lot of very weird stuff. Some of the things, a lot of the time with this I like to work with fully wet mix. Just get something really rhythmic. This can get so crazy. I made this in the fairly early days of my channel. This was a real challenge for me to understand this app at the time. You can turn off the names if you want. Personally, I prefer with the names. We can do all kinds of crazy stuff with modulation. Anyway, I've done a video on it, so go and check out my video. Super interesting app. Really weird. Now here's another freaky developer. Oh my god. So, Classic FX, I did a few videos on this, 2 videos on this. I think Ravenscroft has died again. Let's just bring in House Mark 1 again. Seems to handle the polyphony a bit better. So, Classic FX by Igor Vasiliev, who in the App Store is under the name iMusicAbum. Recently I reviewed his Beat Cutter. I might do a second video on Beat Cutter. It's an amazing app. I have grown to absolutely love that app. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I've posted tons and tons of tips on it on Twitter. It's a very hard app to understand. I now understand it much, much better than I did when I made my video. When I made my vid, I said, I understand this 90%, but I know that the 10% I don't understand is really crucial, and that turned out to be true. Anyway, this is not about Beat Cutter, but I'm just saying, if you haven't seen Beat Cutter, my Beat Cutter video, or you haven't got that app, go and check it out. It's extremely interesting. This has some similar features, like it can do the morphing type thing that Beat Cutter can do as well. So in Classic FX, I don't want the sequencer actually. We've got a lot of different effects we can combine together. We can morph between different algorithms. So we have, for example, echo, vibrato, flanger, auto, wah. We can do sequenced manipulation of it. We've got saturator, chorus, filters, panner, a lot of different stuff. It's very powerful. Let's just listen to a couple of ones that are a bit more delay-like. It's got an envelope follower. Really cool app. This doesn't like the mouse. So, I won't go into this now. I made two videos on it. Well worth checking out. And as I say, Beat Cutter, amazing. Definitely check out Beat Cutter if you haven't yet. Now, we're getting near the end of the video, everyone. Please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already done that. And other ways you can support the channel. You know, if you want to send me a PayPal donation, honestly, they are gratefully received because YouTube pays small channels like mine very, very little in ad revenue. But another thing you can do is actually watch some ads. I've mentioned to my regular viewers before, but it's worth repeating from time to time, that when you watch YouTubers, for longer ads, the YouTuber gets no revenue unless you watch the ad for at least 30 seconds or click on a link. So it's worth bearing in mind when you're watching YouTubers and you want to support them. So our next one here is Crystals. And this crosses the line between a delay and a reverb. And again, it's pitch-based. I did a video on this, so I won't go into it in detail. You can watch my video. So you can see again we have separate delays here, separate pitches, with again 2 octaves motion in each direction. This is very interesting. Can do really extreme stuff. Great for ambient. Love that little, very subtle reverse sound in there. Again, we can do great stuff with the ribbon. You can program all this yourself. I wish every app had a ribbon like this. Another new tricks preset. Lovely one. He's the only preset designer who I wrote the name of here. Sorry about that. You know, everybody don't have time to go into. You can imagine there's already a ton of work in this video. Anyway, here are the preset designers. A lot of great presets in there. And Eventide's factory presets are always great as well. This is a lovely one. So, next one, Koala FX. It has died here. It's been doing that. So, Marek, the developer, if you're watching, this has often, when I go out of the app or something and I come back in, it's often dead. So, this is not strictly speaking a delay, but you can do very interesting delay effects by using delay and then bringing in all these other different things that we have here. This cutter effect can be really fun. I'm a big fan of using the comb filter. Let me go back to that other effect for a second. Bring in the comb filter on this. Beautiful. This is a very cheap app as well. It's well worth getting. Obviously, you're going to get, you know, I mean, you can get a better bit crusher than you're going to get in a little app like this. You know, you want a good bit crusher, get Bit Juggler by Toneboosters. But the quality of the FX in these, I think, is very reasonable considering the price. It's a lot of fun. Really nice interface, very intuitive. I've got hold on here, but we don't need to. We can just trigger things in real time with finger presses, and then when we let go, the effect will disappear. So Koala FX, another really nice one. And then last, I just want to remind you of something. So let me just bring this volume down a little bit first. So just remember that Gauss can be a really interesting thing to use as a looper. So, for example, you can record things into Gauss, like here, for example, I recorded something really crazy, and then use trig to make this rhythmic, right? And then bring in delay. So here we got no delay. Sorry, that's too loud. Then bring in your delay. So Gauss is a really interesting way to take streams of audio, turn them into something rhythmic, and then put a delay on them. And it can do really, really short delay times as well, which can work like a kind of resonator type thing almost. Anyway, that was just a little reminder. Gauss is not really a delay app, but it's a wonderful app, and I've had so much use out of it. It's so creative. So, as I said at the beginning, this is the first of 2 videos. So I've already gone through 20 delays. I've got a lot of delay apps. So I don't know when I'll bring out the second installment, but yeah, look forward to seeing that at some point down the road. And thanks to all the developers who participated in the giveaway today, because there's literally hundreds of dollars worth of apps to give away. So if you're watching this after, the 2 days after the winners have been announced, and maybe you're not familiar with my channel, you're not subscribed to the channel, it's really worth subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos, as I often have giveaways, and sometimes, like this one, they're really, really huge giveaways. Anyway, good luck everyone, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Take it easy, and buy some of these delays, support some of these developers. So many great delays here, and as we saw, they all have their own flavors. Alright, see you soon. Oh, you know what? Here's a little Easter egg. Someone was asking in the Audiobus Forum, let's hear what it's like when they're all combined together. Well, as you know now, I've divided them up into 2 sessions in this video, because it was just killing the CPU too much. But okay, let's stick some of these together and see what we can get. Might have to change the order a little bit or take some off that don't work well together. Wait a minute. It's starting. This one's not going to be good. I'll maybe put it on later. Hear a bit of flanger there. Let's put on hold. It's starting to sound like Beat Cutter. Yeah, I mean, it is very interesting to combine FX together and very interesting to combine different delays together. This one's going to be cool, I think. Let's see what that's like with that one at the start. Alright, you get the idea. That's, I had just finished my video, and I just sent a message to Elias from the AB forum we chat, telling him that I had done my video, and he said, oh, did you do that thing someone said? So I'd completely forgotten about it, so Elias, nice one. Thanks for reminding me, that would be fun to do. Okay, everybody, so this is really goodbye. See you next time.